What's up, folks? David Soto Jr. here, and this is the David Soto Jr. podcast. What's up, folks? David Soto Jr. here, coming to you from Boulder, Colorado. This is episode 3 of the David Soto Jr. podcast. I am sitting in the park, Boulder, Colorado. It was a cold night. There was some snow and stuff, but the sun is out, shining, and it's gorgeous. Again, I'm in this park that's usually, I don't know, it's kind of a little hidden parking lot, so it's hard to get to. There's paths, bike paths, and running paths to it, but as far as parking goes, it's really kind of, you got to drive through a neighborhood in order to find it. During the summertime, there's a few people out here. I come out here, take a nap every now and then. But right now, it's the second time that I've come out here, and there's no cars in the parking lot. So this is a good place for me to record. I was in Colorado Springs earlier, and I was thinking, you know what? I could record something, but I think I'll wait till I get back to Boulder, and I'll go to that park and make a recording. So that's what this is, episode number 3. The thing I want to talk about today is, see, I'm confused. Should I tell about what I want to talk about, or should I just jump into it and tell the story? Well, what I want to talk about is action kills fear. Now, I've heard that a few times from a few different resources. I guess the original place I heard it from, and I don't know if this means that we give him credit for saying it, but David Schwartz, The Magic of Thinking Big, he wrote in that book, Action Kills Fear, and that's the one thing. If I read it again, I'm sure I'd take more out of it. But I remember getting that book, reading it, and I think on my Kindle. I don't even have a Kindle anymore, but that means it's a few years ago. And I wrote that down. That was the one thing out of that book that I wrote down. I eventually listened to the audiobook and a couple times probably since. But that's always the thing that sticks out. Action kills fear. Tim Ferriss even said, I think he's probably the one that got me to read that David Schwartz book. But Tim Ferriss said something like, whatever you fear, imagine a worst case scenario. And if you do that, you will realize that it's not that bad. Even a worst case scenario, if you imagine it, could you handle it? The thing in most cases, it's yeah. So imagining the worst case scenario, I would imagine, is a form of action when you're talking about fears. But this is what happened. I had car trouble again, van trouble, and I don't know if you know, but some of you, it's not like I have that many listeners or viewers, but I live in my van. I have been for 2 years now, and I've had a series of bad luck or crappy events happen. Number one was alternator went out, and that was a big deal because what I ended up having to do was drive down to Colorado Springs from Denver. I was on a date. Date ended. I got in my van. I don't have power. I don't even want to go through that whole story, but I barely made it. Like, I rolled with momentum into my friend's driveway. We got that sorted out, though. I troubleshot it, found out it was the alternator, and oops. This dang tag on my headphones was bothering me. I got some new headphones, by the way. Anyways. And the thing is about when it's cold, it's winter in Colorado, if my alternator doesn't run, I can't start the engine, and I can't start the engine, I don't have heat. So, I'm having technical difficulty. You can't hear it, but this thing is rubbing and it's in my ear. Okay. Apologies. Van trouble. We get the alternator swapped out. Do it myself. Alternator costs $100 something bucks. No, not that big of a deal. I think good. I'm good to go. Now the van breaks down. Every now and then the van breaks down. Next week go fishing, I think, with some friends. Come back. The next morning I'm in Golden. I go to start the van. The van doesn't start. Or actually, it starts, but it shuts off, and then it doesn't start. It stops. It's not running anymore. It won't come on. Engine don't run. I have no heat. That day was the coldest day I've experienced in van life. It was 10 degrees. I got another report that it was 9 degrees. That would be the first time I ever hit single digits. No heat. It sucked. I got showered. I got on the phone with my insurance because they have roadside assistance, but they only take me. Luckily, I have a friend that I can stay with in Colorado Springs. He is in Colorado Springs. I just said that. But the van was kaput in Golden. No way for me to get there. They can only tow it unless they want to charge me, unless I want to pay the mileage. They can only tow it 11 miles. Have to take it somewhere in Golden. Have to spend the night in the hotel. Have to pay over $1,000 to get the fuel pump replaced. It's a bite in the ass, man. That hurt to spend that much money. I don't have an income right now. I have some savings, and as long as I don't have $1,000 problems, I could live off that savings for a while. That hurt. It sucked. But the fuel pump was replaced. Nothing for me to worry about anymore. Now I have heat. Well, guess what happens? A couple days later, the heater stops working. Engine runs, that's great, but the heater doesn't work. And it's winter in Colorado, and I need the heat. So, and here's the thing, it was an intermittent problem, meaning it happens every now and then. It'll happen here, it'll happen there. So the fan will come on, the fan will go off. I'll have heat, I'll think I'm okay. It'll last a couple of days, and then I'll wake up in the morning and it won't come on. I did some extensive research and troubleshooting. Ended up changing out the motor resistor. Because it's an intermittent problem, I didn't know if that fixed it or not because it was working when I replaced it. Next morning, I tried to start the van. No heat. The blower's not working. Do some more troubleshooting. Order a blower motor. Ended up ordering a blower motor. Get that put in. I'm good to go. Everything's fixed. In the meantime, I had preemptively ordered this control panel that's on the front of the dashboard that goes low, high, medium, all that shit. That came in. I'm like, what the hell? I'll put that into. I was in Colorado Springs with my buddy, and it was just a matter of popping off this bezel, unplugging it, plugging a new one in, and put a new one in. All my electronics for my heat are good. My heat is good. He's working good. Weekend with my buddy, poker night with some friends, then Super Bowl Monday morning, which was yesterday. I get in the van, I start up, I start driving, and a check engine light comes on. Now I tell you all that to get to the part where I have been... Oh, I skipped a part. No, I overshot it. I wasn't going to tell you about the check engine light yesterday. That didn't matter. When it came back to it, when I replaced that part, that resistor, I wasn't 100% if it was fixed, but I was pretty sure based on what I came across. Next morning, no heat. Then I'm doing the research, trying to find out what the hell is wrong. I order this part that I'm not sure if it needs it or not, but I order it, and it's going to take 2 days to get here. I'm like, all right, I can manage 2 days without heat. I'm in the coffee shop. I'm doing my stuff. I get done. I get in the van, and it's freezing. It's cold, right? This is my place of residence. I can lay back in the back and read. I spend a lot of time. This is basically my home. my house. And so it's the place where I feel most secure, and most safe. And it was fucking cold, and it was not going to get warm up. Um, that particular day was cloudy, so not even sunlight was going to come in. If sunlight comes in, it comes in, bounces back off, and greenhouse effect. It does warm up. I'm warm right now. I'm just sitting. That's because there's sunlight out there, and it's coming in through the windows and getting trapped in here. Um, So that day, I was sitting in the van, like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. When am I ever gonna get this fixed? Is this part that I'm buying even gonna fix it? How am I gonna spend the next 2 days? Maybe I should just drive south. I'm just gonna drive south. I'm going to, Texas or some shit, somewhere where it's closer to the equator and a little bit warmer. And I was feeling low. And depressed. To tell you the truth, I was feeling pretty depressed. I was like, what the fuck? What is up with my life? Why does this shit keep happening? Blah, blah, blah. Pity party is what Zig Ziglar used to call it. He used to say the thing about pity parties is, don't nobody come. And if they do, they don't bring presents. Pity party. Anyways, I'm feeling pretty bad, and I think, you know what? This heat not working was an intermittent problem. Now it's off, and it seems to be off for good. Let me troubleshoot it. Let me get my voltmeter out. Let me try and work on it and see what I can do. So I come to this park, the one I'm sitting at right now, that I know is kind of chill. And I pull up, I pop the hood, and I find the blower motor, and I go, if it's getting power, then I know the motor's bad. It's not this controller. I hadn't been able to do that. I didn't think to do it before, but a lot of the reason why I wasn't doing it is because the motor was running. It was intermittent. So I'm like, oh man, I don't have heat. The blower motor's not working. And then boom, it would come on all of a sudden. So you can't troubleshoot something that's not broken. When I was in the field, we used to say stuff like C and D, could not duplicate, because if something breaks and it's intermittent and you go, I'm repeating myself. If it's not broken when you get there, you can't diagnose it and can't find out what's wrong. On this particular morning, the heat didn't come back on like it had been. It stayed off. So I took advantage of that and I troubleshot it. I went and checked main power going to the blower motor, and there was voltage there. That makes it pretty easy. It's not the controller. If voltage is going to the motor, that means it's not this thing here on the dashboard. It was actually the blower motor, which I could not troubleshoot before, because it was never not running when I had the opportunity to get my voltmeter out. I did that so after doing that, I jumped online real quick on my phone, checked out a YouTube video, checked out my book on how to, or the book that I bought when I bought this van. It shows you how to take apart everything. And I was like, this is a piece of cake. The day before, I had replaced that blower resistor, and I needed to follow the same procedures in order to get to the blower motor. Long story short, I did that in the parking lot of Advanced Auto or AutoZone or one of these places. And I have heat. Everything is squared away. I have heat. And that's when I said I went to my buddy's house, and then the controller showed up in the meantime, and I put that in anyways. That way I know everything electrical on this heating system is good to go. I don't have to worry about anything. Okay, so I tell you all of that is because what happened? I was feeling low. I was feeling down. I was feeling depressed. I was feeling lower than whale shit, as somebody told me one time when I was going to head off to basic training over Christmas. Lower than whale shit. And by the time I saw that there was voltage at my motor, by the time I realized that I could fix it, that I could go to the auto parts store, buy this part, and put it in, I was feeling better. I was feeling a lot better. I didn't even have to put the motor in. Just the fact that I knew that I was going to be able to do it. Just the fact that I was able to diagnose it. What I did was take action. So here I'm sitting in this seat right here, sulking, feeling sorry for myself, and I make the decision to take action and to do something about my situation. And in doing so, I made myself feel better. Action kills fear. Now here's the thing, like, what does fear have to do with what the fuck you're just talking about? You're all sad and depressed, right? And I don't see how action kills fear has to do with you feeling sorry for yourself. Well, here's the thing. There are only two emotions. You can choose to believe this or not, but I do. There are only two emotions. All the other emotions are like branches off these two major emotions. Those two emotions are love and fear. You can basically say that anything negative is derived from fear. Sadness, anger, hate, etc., 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 all derived from fear. All the good ones derived from love. So in a sense, if action kills fear, it will kill any of those other negative emotions as well. When I typed in action, because I wanted to source the quote, which it didn't even come up. David Schwartz didn't even come up at all. When I typed in action kills fear in Google, action kills anxiety came up. Action kills thoughts came up as well. Now, thoughts are what cause you to feel a certain way about an event. Events don't cause anything. They just happen. A bird can shit on my windshield right now. And what I think about that is going to cause my emotions. The thing is about thoughts is you can change them. Action kills thoughts. You don't need to kill them, you can change them. If they're negative thoughts, you can kill them. I'll give you an example. Somebody said to me, "No, dummy, that's not how it works," or something like that on Facebook one time, and I thought that was funny. I thought it was funny. I forgot what we referenced. My point is that if somebody else were to say, "No, dummy," I would probably go off on that person. You know? Because this is an old Air Force buddy. He called me a dummy. I was laughing at him. LOL, type LOL back in the thing. If anybody else were to call me a dummy, that would, I would have a different reaction. And here's the thing. It's not the word, right? It's not the fact that somebody called me a dummy. It's how I interpret it. It's my thoughts on that situation. Does generate those emotions. Your thoughts generate the emotions. Action kills fear. Fear is responsible for all of the emotions, the negative ones that we feel, whether it's depression or loneliness or hate or whatever. They all come from fear. If I did not take action, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be where I am today. I'm an author. I'm a traveling, retired master sergeant. I've owned businesses, sustained. I've come from zero income to starting a business and sustaining myself, paying myself for 7 years. Until that business got stolen from me. That's another story. But action kills fear, folks, and that's all. I mean, I just could have said that on the podcast and I could have ended it. But I told you that story. I gave you these examples because it happened to me. I realized it myself. Uh, Again, I'm not trying to give advice. I'm trying to relay the events that happened to me. Um, and if you can learn from it, that's awesome. If not, oh well. Oh well. Folks, that's it. Action kills fear. That's all I got for today. I appreciate you tuning in. If you have any comments or anything you want to say, go ahead and shout me out. Oh, call to action, right? You call to action. I'm on Twitter, trying to interact with people more at David E. Soto Jr. David E. Soto Jr. on Twitter. That's also my Instagram handle, at David E. Soto on Instagram. I do a lot better. I'm a photographer. I like to take pictures. I do a lot more stuff on Instagram than anything else. Also, my website is davidsotowrites.com. davidsotowrites.com. And it's just a collection of my writings. I mean, if you're into that shit, good, check it out. Check it out. I have my books that are for sale. I have one of them, my novella. You can read it on there for free. Yes, you can go to Amazon and buy it for $2.99. But I put it up there for free. What the hell? Why not? davidsotowrites.com. Folks, I appreciate you tuning in. And I'll see you next time.